Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Before I say anything else, let me unsettle you. There is a reason some hugs leave you calm, and others hijack your breath, your focus, your self-control. Most men are never taught this difference, yet your nervous system knows it instantly. In the next few minutes, you will recognize moments you have lived through without understanding why they lingered. If this conversation matters to you, subscribe to the channel and like this video, because what we explore today changes how you are felt, not just how you are seen. I am speaking to you as a psychologist, not to arouse you, but to explain desire the way it actually works inside the body. Lust is not created by force or technique. It is invited through safety, timing, and subtle signals that bypass conscious thought. A hug becomes charged when it speaks directly to the limbic system, the part of the brain that decides trust and attraction long before words arrive. The first hidden touch is stillness. When you hug and immediately stop moving, even for half a second, her nervous system notices the pause. That micro-stillness creates contrast, and contrast wakes desire. Rushed motion feels friendly. Controlled stillness feels intentional, grounded and present. The second is pressure, that is slow, not strong. Lust does not come from squeezing. It comes from gradual pressure that says, I am here, and I am not in a hurry. Slow pressure communicates confidence and emotional containment, which many men underestimate and many women crave. The third is breath awareness. If your breathing stays calm and deep during a hug, her body begins to mirror it unconsciously. This synchrony lowers defenses and increases sensitivity. Shallow or held breath signals anxiety, and anxiety shuts desire down. The fourth is chest contact alignment. When your chest aligns naturally with hers, without angling away, it signals openness and availability. The body reads this as emotional honesty, which often precedes physical wanting. The fifth is release timing. Ending a hug 1 second earlier than expected leaves a psychological echo. The brain remembers what ended too soon and assigns it value. The sixth is emotional neutrality. When you are not seeking a reaction, the interaction feels safe yet charged. Desire grows where there is no pressure to perform. This understanding changes how you move, how you touch, and how you are remembered long after contact ends in real life. What most men miss is that a hug is a conversation between nervous systems, not bodies. When she leans in, her brain is scanning for cues of safety, intention, and emotional maturity. If those cues are present, desire can surface without effort. If they are missing, even the most attractive man feels forgettable. Another hidden touch is hand placement that communicates guidance, not ownership. When your hand rests higher on the back rather than low, it signals protection instead of possession. Protection calms the mind. Calm allows sensation to rise. Possession triggers evaluation, and evaluation kills the moment. There is also the power of asymmetry. Perfectly mirrored hugs feel polite. A slight offset, where one shoulder is marginally lower, creates dynamic tension. The body senses movement potential, and movement potential awakens anticipation. Anticipation is where lust quietly begins. Your posture matters more than your strength. An upright spine with relaxed shoulders tells her nervous system that you are grounded. Grounded men feel predictable in a good way. Predictability allows her to let go internally, without fear of being rushed or overwhelmed. Then there is duration awareness. Most men either rush the hug or overstay it. A hug that lasts just long enough for breathing to sink, but ends before comfort turns into familiarity, stays charged. Familiarity soothes, charge excites. Knowing the difference is emotional intelligence. Touch temperature also communicates information. Warm hands suggest presence and circulation. Cold hands trigger vigilance. This is not romantic myth, it is biology. The body decides before the mind has language. Finally, there is the emotional frame you carry into the hug. If you are seeking validation, her body feels it. If you are centered and giving without expectation, her body relaxes. Relaxation is not the opposite of desire. It is the doorway to it. Men are taught to do more. Attraction is built by doing less with more awareness. When a hug feels safe, intentional, and emotionally unforced, it does something deeper than arousal. It creates trust, layered with curiosity. And that combination is remembered long after words fade. This memory forms because the body stores sensations as emotional reference points. When touch is calm, slow, and self-contained, it signals leadership without dominance. That signal is rare. Rarity increases value. Value intensifies desire, not through fantasy, but through felt certainty that you are safe, aware, and fully present with her in that exact moment now. Here is the truth most men never hear. Lust does not come from excitement first. It comes from permission. Permission given by the body when it decides, without conscious thought, that you are emotionally regulated enough to be trusted in close space. A hug is often the first moment where that decision is made. One of the most overlooked touches is the thumb. When your hand is placed on her back, the thumb should remain relaxed, not gripping, not stroking. A still thumb communicates restraint. Restraint is read as self-control. Self-control is deeply attractive because it signals that desire is a choice, not a compulsion. Another hidden element is how your head positions itself. When your cheek or jawline rests gently rather than pressing, it sends a message of softness layered with presence. Pressing seeks sensation. Resting offers connection. Connection is what turns physical closeness into something charged. There is also the moment just before contact, that half second when you step in and pause instead of collide. This anticipatory gap activates the brain's predictive circuitry. The body prepares. Preparation heightens sensation. Men who rush eliminate this psychological buildup without realizing it. Your emotional state bleeds into your muscles. If you are tense, she feels tension. If you are calm, her muscles soften. Softening is not weakness, it is readiness. The body does not open when it is guarding. It opens when it feels held without pressure. Another powerful cue is how you disengage eye focus before the hug. Looking away briefly before closing distance signals respect for boundaries. It says you are attuned, not consuming. That subtle respect allows her to lean in mentally as well as physically. Then there is silence. Talking during a hug keeps the interaction cognitive. Silence moves it into the sensory realm. The nervous system processes touch more intensely when words stop. Silence tells the body that nothing is being demanded. What men often misunderstand is that desire grows in spaces where nothing is being taken. When a hug feels like an offering rather than a request, it lingers. The brain tags it as safe but stimulating, familiar but unfinished. This is why some hugs are forgotten within seconds, and others replay themselves later without effort. The difference is not chemistry, it is regulation, timing, and subtlety. When your touch communicates emotional maturity, the body responds with curiosity. Curiosity is the quiet beginning of lust, and once it starts, it rarely needs to be forced again. Now let's get deeper, because this is where most men completely fail to notice what's happening. Desire doesn't ignite from touch alone. It is fueled by contrast. The small shifts in pressure, the imperceptible movements, the way your body adjusts without thinking, all of it sends signals that her nervous system interprets as either safety or threat. Only when she feels safe does the spark appear. One of the most hidden touches is the way your arms contour, not hugging rigidly, but forming a subtle frame around her body. This framing doesn't trap, it outlines. It tells the nervous system, I see you, I am present, you are safe here. That safety amplifies every other signal, every micro brush of skin, every heartbeat sinking beneath your chest. Micro shifts in weight are equally important. Leaning slightly, almost imperceptibly, into her shoulder as you hold the hug communicates interest without urgency. Too much weight feels possessive. Too little feels disinterested. This invisible calibration is what separates a forgettable embrace from one that lingers in memory, stirring curiosity and tension. The way your fingers lightly graze the back or side of her body is another subtle but powerful cue. It isn't stroking, rubbing, or searching. It is just touch that signals attentiveness. That attentiveness tells the brain, you are attuned, you are present. Presence is magnetic in a way that strength or words cannot compete with. Don't underestimate the power of small directional cues, like a shoulder nudge or a shift of your head to the side. These tell her subconscious where your awareness lies. You are guiding, not commanding. Desire is born in guidance, not dominance. The body interprets control as either safety or threat, depending on how it is delivered. Most men deliver threat unknowingly. There's also something I call touch punctuation. A quick, almost imperceptible release at the end of the hug signals the end without tension. This micro-release allows her nervous system to process the contact, creating a residual charge. This is why some hugs leave her thinking about you long after they end, while others vanish instantly from memory. Finally, your emotional baseline is everything. If you are anxious, seeking, or expecting something in return, the hug collapses into friendship or awkwardness. If you are calm, centered, and fully present, her nervous system senses it. That calmness is invisible, but magnetic. It whispers permission, and where permission exists, lust quietly awakens. Mastering these small touches doesn't require bold gestures. It requires awareness, timing, and emotional self-regulation. That is why most men unknowingly sabotage their own effect. Lust isn't forced, it is invited. One subtle, precise touch at a time. Now I want you to truly understand something most men never realize. The body remembers tension and release far more than words or intentions. Every micro-movement in a hug, every fraction of a second, is stored in her nervous system as either safety or threat, attraction or indifference. If you hug without awareness, you are leaving the memory blank. But if you touch with precision, the imprint can linger for hours, even days. A crucial hidden touch is shoulder placement. Your shoulders should never block hers. Instead, they guide her, subtly aligning her torso with yours without forcing it. This alignment communicates protection and attention without overstepping. The brain reads this as emotional competence, the kind of energy that makes her feel calm, curious, and attentive. Competence is sexy because it signals stability without arrogance. Next is the small, almost imperceptible wrist touch, where your hand contacts her back. If the wrist is relaxed, the entire hug breathes. A stiff wrist creates tension and breaks the flow. Relaxed wrists signal control through presence rather than force. Lust emerges when the body feels held, not controlled. Micro-adjustments in your stance are also key. Shifting your weight slightly forward or backward during the hug creates a subtle rhythm. Rhythm is unexpected. It creates curiosity. And curiosity awakens anticipation, which is the invisible spark that transforms simple contact into magnetism. Timing your release is where most men fail completely. Letting go too early signals disinterest. Holding on too long signals desperation. The perfect release is a fraction of a second before she expects it. This triggers a psychological echo. The mind lingers on what it didn't fully receive. That echo is the beginning of desire, planted without a single word. There's also the power of head positioning. Tilt your head slightly so your cheek lightly brushes hers, or your jaw rests nearby without pressure. This subtle placement communicates intimacy without invading personal space. Intimacy built on respect is far more potent than intimacy built on force. Finally, your internal focus transforms the hug. If your mind is elsewhere, distracted, the hug dies. If your focus is entirely on the present moment with her, every nerve in her body notices. Present attention is a hidden aphrodisiac, triggering the brain's reward system quietly but profoundly. These 6 hidden touches, combined with emotional regulation, timing, and awareness, are why some hugs feel electric, while others are instantly forgettable. Desire is not manufactured, it is cultivated, quietly and deliberately, in the space where safety meets subtlety. When mastered, a simple hug can leave her thinking about you long after it ends, and that is power few men ever learn. Here's the part most men never understand. Lust is never purely physical, it's psychological first. A hug isn't just arms around a body, it's a message sent straight to the subconscious. Every slight movement, every pause, every brush of skin is interpreted as either safe, intriguing, or threatening. Your goal isn't to force attraction, it's to orchestrate attention her nervous system can't ignore. One hidden element is micro-pressure variation. As you hold her, subtly shift the pressure, not in a way she notices consciously, but just enough for her body to register a pulse of attention. This communicates responsiveness. When the body feels noticed, it relaxes in anticipation. Relaxation combined with subtle intensity is the hidden pathway to desire. Another powerful touch is lateral body contact. Most men hug straight on, chest to chest, and think that's intimacy. But a slight angle, where your body brushes the side of hers, triggers the subconscious to lean in, without words. The body interprets this as invitation, curiosity and respect, all at once. That subtle angle awakens attention, and attention precedes lust. There's also the micro-sweep of your hands along the upper back. Not stroking, not gripping, just a light, deliberate pass that communicates awareness and presence. Awareness is invisible, but the body feels it. Presence is magnetic. Most men never realize that their hands can whisper desire long before their lips ever speak. Breath coordination cannot be overstated. When your inhale and exhale align subtly with hers, her nervous system unconsciously mirrors you. This synchrony lowers defenses and heightens sensitivity. Lust thrives where defense is down. Anxiety or tension kills it. This is why calm, measured breathing during a hug is more potent than any grand gesture. Micro-release at the hug's end is equally vital. Letting go just slightly before she expects it leaves a lingering echo in her body. That echo is a memory of safety, attentiveness, and subtle tension. It's the same principle behind why cliffhangers make stories addictive. Incompleteness triggers the mind to replay the experience. Finally, your mental state transforms every physical cue. If you are anxious, eager, or distracted, it transmits immediately. If you are present, grounded, and confident, without expectation, every subtle touch becomes amplified. Lust is born not in the muscles, but in the unspoken conversation between your nervous system and hers. Master these hidden touches and internal cues, and a simple hug will no longer be a gesture. It will become a silent, charged dialogue, one that she feels long after it ends, and one that leaves her thinking about you without a single word exchanged. That is the hidden power most men never unlock. Now let's go even deeper, because this is where most men completely miss the invisible rules of desire. A hug is not just about proximity. It's about the signals your body sends while in that space. Every micro-movement, every pause, every slight adjustment is processed by her brain in milliseconds, long before she consciously registers it. The difference between a forgettable hug and one that lingers is measured in these tiny, deliberate touches. One subtle but critical touch is the alignment of your hands on her back. Rest them naturally, not gripping or sliding, and avoid dominant placement. Placement that communicates security, rather than ownership, speaks directly to her subconscious. The body reads ownership as control, and control creates resistance. Security creates receptivity. Desire rises where receptivity exists. Another hidden cue is shoulder rotation. Slightly rotate your shoulder to mirror her position, just enough to create subtle asymmetry. Perfect symmetry feels polite, predictable, and boring. Slight asymmetry introduces tension, dynamic tension that her nervous system interprets as interesting and alive. Tension is where curiosity turns into anticipation. Micro-pressure variations on her back or sides matter more than you think. Gentle, controlled shifts, almost imperceptible, signal attentiveness and responsiveness. The subconscious notices everything. Attentiveness communicates that you are fully present and emotionally regulated. Presence beats words every single time. The way you disengage is equally important. Releasing too fast signals impatience or disinterest. Holding too long signals neediness. The perfect release is timed just before she expects it. That fraction of a second creates an afterimage in her mind, a subtle echo that keeps her thinking about you. Desire is as much about what isn't there as what is. Head placement is another secret weapon. Tilting slightly, resting near her without pressure, or grazing lightly communicates intimacy while respecting personal boundaries. Intimacy is magnetic when it feels earned, not forced. Boundaries respected create trust. Trust allows the body to soften, and softness opens the door to desire. Finally, your emotional baseline transforms everything. Anxiety, distraction, or overeagerness kills the effect of every touch. Calm, centered, present energy amplifies every micro-movement, every pause, every heartbeat. Lust is born in that quiet, unspoken, perfectly timed awareness. It's subtle, invisible, and unforgettable. Master these invisible rules, and a hug becomes more than a gesture. It becomes a silent, powerful statement of presence, safety, and desire. She doesn't need to understand it intellectually. She feels it viscerally, and once she feels it, she will remember it, long after the moment has passed. Finally, let's uncover the last layer, the part most men never realize. Desire is a memory before it is a feeling. Every hug you give has the potential to create an imprint in her nervous system, a lasting trace of safety, attentiveness, and subtle tension. This is where the power of hidden touches becomes undeniable. What you do with micro-moments defines how she remembers you. One of the most overlooked touches is the micro-angle of your torso. Not perfectly straight, not overly turned, just a slight adjustment that creates tension and interest. This small shift sends signals to her subconscious that you are engaged, aware, and attuned. Engagement is irresistible when it's invisible. Interest without pressure is magnetic. Your hands matter more than most men think. Rest them lightly, intentionally, and with awareness. The body reads the difference between a careless hand and a deliberate touch. Deliberate hands communicate calm confidence, emotional regulation, and subtle desire. These are signals she feels before she thinks. Another hidden factor is timing in your breathing. When your inhales and exhales sync subtly with hers, her nervous system unconsciously mirrors you. This synchrony creates calm, lowers defenses, and heightens sensitivity. Lust thrives where tension is balanced by safety. Anxiety, fidgeting, or rushed breath destroys it instantly. Micro-releases at the end of the hug are crucial. Let go slightly before she expects it, just a fraction of a second early. This creates a psychological echo, a residue of sensation that her brain unconsciously replays. This is the moment desire lingers, curiosity grows, and attraction deepens, long after you step away. Head and cheek placement are equally critical. Tilting your head slightly, allowing a light brush without pressing, communicates intimacy while respecting boundaries. Intimacy built on consent and subtlety triggers desire more reliably than force or aggressiveness ever could. Finally, your emotional presence is the invisible amplifier. Calm, grounded, and fully aware energy transforms ordinary contact into something electric. Anxiety, expectation, or distraction cancels every subtle cue you've applied. Desire emerges only when the nervous system feels you are fully present and emotionally regulated. These 6 hidden touches, combined with timing, emotional regulation, and micro-movements, turn a simple hug into a charged, unforgettable experience. When done correctly, it's no longer just a hug. It's a silent conversation, a memory, and an invitation all at once. Master this, and every embrace you give can leave her thinking about you long after the moment is over. It is subtle, invisible, and profoundly powerful.